Listen.
So y'all remember the day after tomorrow, right? That was the one that was about global warming, using the power of Sub-Zero to destroy human race. Well, if you remember...
Serious new virus.
Coronavirus.
I have today declared that the coronavirus presents a public health emergency.
You add that with what's going on, you get this new movie. And we're going to go over all that in the next trap recap. Get your booster shots and your winter coats ready. Let's go. So we start out following these interns, right? You know, these graduate students, and they're just inputting data having to do with like the crisis going on in the world with this new flu and, you know, different kinds of weather patterns. And their OG gets an email from the guy at the North Pole station where everything started going crazy. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna step out and get some coffee real quick. And they're like, coffee? Don't you got coffee? And he's like, yeah, but check this out. What you need to do is check out this new data that I just received. So she calls her sister and tells her she ain't gonna be able to make it to pick up their brother from the airport because she gotta work. And her sister's tripping like, yo, you a workaholic, man. You don't give a damn about this family. And as they're talking about family, their little brother's plane happens to just go down because, you know, weather patterns, all that's going nuts. So they go down, and then the homeboy at the North Pole is trying to fix his shit. Meanwhile, back at the crash, Lil Bro's fiance is trying to make everything better, find out a way to help him, check survivors, and find a way out. You know, she's taking control. And she ends up running into one of the flight attendants who's like, I wasn't even supposed to be here today. I'm missing out on a D appointment because of this shit. So she helps her up, and she's still looking around, and she keeps seeing they're frozen. Back with the interns, Honey, Dip, and Juan are taking the vaccine on the road, and he's telling her to slow down. She's like, no, I got this. Out of nowhere, a tree falls, and she loses control. That's the face of somebody that knows they done fucked up. Feel me? And so, yeah, they spin out of it. She loses control, comes to a stop. So her sister is determined to find their brother, and she's using the Find My iPhone app to find them. And she comes to this location where she thinks he is. Honey Dip gets a hold of OG North Pole. They start talking, and he's like, yo, this shit's moving in fast. It just froze over one of the biggest cities in the country. So Big Sis is out there screaming for Lil Bro. And she don't see nothing at first. But then Lil Bro's fiance starts breaking out some ice. Because she's like, yo, I ain't going out like this. I ain't no punk bitch. So she keeps knocking it out. All of a sudden, Little Bro thinks he's hallucinating, can hear his sister, even though they under an avalanche. So he starts screaming, help me, please. I'm a little bitch. So they end up, you know, just cutting out some of that snow, some of that ice. Always keep a crowbar handy. And then he's like, yo, throw some water on that shit. And he throws the briefcase at it, and it cracks it open a little bit. And inevitably, he's able to get out, him and his fiance. Everybody happy, Hallmark moment. But now Seattle's froze over. OG North Pole just let him in on that secret. Yeah, no more Starbucks. He's like, yo, you guys got to get going. Because if you're going to save the world, you need to get that motherfucking vaccine to the south. And I ain't talking about Louisiana. She's still swerving all over the place. You know, Juan told her not to be taking it so fast. They end up going almost damn near over the cliff. Then they roll down it. And luckily, the only thing they had is a broke axle. You know what I'm saying? It was probably a CV joint, but Juan's knocked out. You know, she's like, Juan, papito, I love you. He's like, what'd you say? She's like, nothing. Are you okay? Oh, thank God. And he saved the vaccine cure. So they start walking, and now they're at a place that's not even froze over. So they're lucky about that. First thing she tries to do is steal the whip. You know, the homeowner comes out like, yo, what you doing? He's like, you need to get out of here. I don't know what y'all got. She's like, yo, we actually have the vaccine, so let us in. He's like, there ain't no vaccine. She's like, swear to God. He's like, swear to God? Yeah, see, it's right here. You want some? And he's like, all right, come on in. So he opens up the garage, and he's a veterinarian, you know what I'm saying, which is pretty much a doctor. So he's like, yo, I see your wound here, sonny boy. I'm going to tighten you up. And Juan ain't taking it, like a G, but that's okay. Then we cut back to the other siblings and the fiance, and they're stumbling through this building they found. They trying to find a place that's warm. Back in the garage, Juan's feeling better. He's sitting up, but he also looks like he's back up on The Walking Dead. She's like, yo, if we make it out of this, we fuck. And he's like, nah, that's okay. And then old man's like, yo, you can take these keys to my truck, get the cure to where it needs to go. So she's talking to OG North Pole. He's like, yo, Denver just got froze over. Denver, Colorado. Damn. I guess nobody's getting high tonight. So they end up going to the emergency room, and they end up jumping up in the meat racks, you know what I'm saying, where they keep the stiffies at. He's like, yo, this is gross. She's like, man, if you don't get your bitch ass in there. And then she pushes him in, trying to lock him up. And like the freeze is coming down the hallway like Freddy Krueger or something. And instead of getting back in, she just like, yeah, and just freezes over. So OG North Pole is like, yo, y'all need to get a move on, man. For real, you got a long ways to go. And the freeze is moving, shaking up his spot. He's like, yo, I think this is the last minute for me. Make sure I didn't die for nothing. And name your kid after me. So then, the North Pole Station gets froze over, so they're on their own. So she's like, why don't we just go over the ocean? He's like, you a pinche loca. And so inevitably, because white girls get what they want, they end up going over the young ocean froze over. Back with little bro, he jumps out of the compartment. He ends up getting into some stuff, trying to knock the frozen door open. She getting scared. He's like, yo, shorty, I got you. So inevitably, he does get it open, even though he sucks. But he did get it open. I wonder why his was so easy to open. So now he's a little salty about his girl freezing over. And as they're going over the ocean, Juan's like, yo, honey dip, just take it easy, because it might be frozen. And she's like, oh, you got the coffee? He's like, yeah, don't worry about that. I just smoke weed. You know how we do. And he's like, yeah, but you got to be careful on this icy-ass ocean, because one crack and it's a wrap. So she wasn't paying attention, driving like it was Fast and Furious, almost damn near hits the battleship, loses control. Now the ice is breaking. Oh, joy. So Juan gets out. He's trying to figure it out. They end up getting out before. And she's like, no, the vaccine. She about to jump in. He's like, yo, it's cool. I got the vaccine, but I'm bleeding. Back with old little bro. They talking about what they gonna do next, but the car's not working because it froze over. Now, Honey Dip and Juan, even though they're freezing, they're walking through like a hiking trail with no snow on the ground. She's thanking him. And, Big Sis takes little bro in and trying to get him some help. They just wandering around, doing whatever they want. And next thing you know, they hear the helicopter, so they start waving like, yo, what's good? They're like, yo, we need to set some shit on fire. So he's like, yo, man, you just saved our lives, man. Fuck my fiance. So it was warm enough that, they ain't, Juan ain't even wearing a jacket. And they trying to get, across this big ass fucking part of the mountain when this avalanche hit. So now they're hiding out from the avalanche. Juan takes off the backpack to protect the young vaccine, gives it to Honey Dip so he can cross these rocks. You know what I'm saying? I think they call that a scramble. I ain't talking about eggs, homie. So he gets across, fine. And then he's like, all right, shorty, throw me the pack. You got it. And shorty, she didn't do nothing like this in high school. She played no sports. So when she goes to chuck the bag, it's way off. And somehow the vial comes out with the vaccine. Juan makes an amazing leap for it, grabs it. Because Juan was on the soccer team, real talk. And so then he climbs up and they come out on the other side and motherfucking Brazil. And now everybody's cool down there in Brazil. They're giving out the vaccine, no quarantine needed, and everybody's happy. And then she's about to take a break, and Juan's there. He's like, yeah, for sure. And she's checking her text, trying to get a hold of somebody. And then lo and behold, her brother is in the same spot and her sister. They all made it out. You know what I'm saying? So moral of the story is, if you in the middle of two different catastrophes, just smoke some weed and stay still.